welcome to my channel. Today we shall be discussing sexual assault, what it is, what survivors are saying about their experiences, the impact of rape on survivors, the reason for the culture of silence, and how not to be a victim. Looking at our society on a superficial level, it is easy for parents and many families to assume that their children will never encounter sexual assault in this lifetime. In reality, many young people and adults alike may be experiencing sexual harassment, molestation, exploitation, and assault, bearing the burden in silence. The likelihood is even higher when a young adult feels that they are old enough to make certain choices, often without the knowledge of their parents. As pointed out in so many reports, whistling, catcalling, and sexual advances are common experiences for young women. However, sexual assault is way more common than many of you may think. It has been reported in many studies that 1 in 5 women have experienced rape at least once in their lifetime. Half of female rape survivors were raped by intimate partners, husbands, boyfriends, uncles, family members, etc. More than 2/3 of sexual assaults are not reported, and much more than that, especially those that involve children, are never reported. The culture of victim blaming and victim shaming has been found to encourage and embolden rapists to keep perpetuating the sexual violence in our society. The goal of this video lesson, therefore, is to reopen our eyes to how common sexual assault is in our communities, and also to see why blaming the victim is contributing to the rape culture in every society. Please stay with me till the end of this video to know how not to be a victim of sexual assault. Welcome back. We are going to be approaching this issue from 5 perspectives. We are going to look at some definitions, look at how common rape is, look at some symptoms associated with surviving rape, why victims don't report, and at the end of the video, we will be discussing how to reduce your risk of becoming a victim. What then is sexual assault? Without having to go into so many complexities, whatever form of sexual activity that is forced on someone else without that person's consent, any unwanted sexual activity, for instance, kissing, touching, touching people's breasts or buttocks, flashing, oral sex, intercourse, under any circumstances, as long as the other person does not want it or give her consent or his consent, then it is sexual assault. Sexual exploitation, on the other hand, unlike sexual assault, is when an individual is in need of basic necessity of life, like food, shelter, money to feed his or her family, the need for protection, money to buy drugs to treat him or herself or the children. And these people come to you for help, and you now decide that, okay, I'm going to help you, but I have to sleep with you. That is sexual exploitation. The person would willingly agree to sleep with you because he needs the money, because he needs the food, because he needs the shelter, because he needs protection. So if you take sex from these people in order to provide this essential necessity of life, then you are exploiting them sexually. Why then should we talk about sexual assault or rape? Globally, 1 out of 5 women reported having been raped at some point in their lives or another. That is 20%, all right, of women. And aside that, 1 out of 20 women also reported that aside from rape, they have also experienced other sexual violence. All right? And of recent, men are now coming out to report rape. Either they get gang raped by women or they get sodomized by gay men. So it is becoming an issue. In our country, Nigeria, a report in 2015 confirmed that 25% of girls and 10% of boys had experienced sexual violence before they hit the age of 18. That is a whooping sum. 1 out of 4 girls have been molested or assaulted before their 18th birthday. In another report, over 30% of girls said that their first sexual encounter has been forced sex or rape. This is becoming an epidemic, and we have to continue to talk about it. We have to do something about it. Here, we are going to listen to some survivors and hear their voices. But these survivors could only found their voice or voices years after the incident. Look at this. This is to tell you that anybody, anywhere, can be a victim of sexual violence. Who then are the victims of sexual assault? Women. A whole lot of women are dying in silence. A whole lot of women are continuously getting assaulted day in, day out, and they are enduring in silence. Children are also getting molested all the time. We need to be extra vigilant in order to detect this, because the perpetrator are always living with the children. The perpetrators are people that the children love. The perpetrators are family members who sometimes are living with those children. The orphans, children from broken homes, children whose mothers, are too busy to just look after them. They put these children in the care of other families, and the other family will continue to assault and molest them, and they cannot report. And of course, men are also getting molested. Who are the perpetrators? Family members, intimate partners. It is pervasive. It is happening all the time. The majority of people who sexually molest and assault and rape others are those people who are living with us, are those people who are our friends, are the people who are our neighbors, and members of our churches and mosques are the people who are violating other people. All right? So strangers only constitute a fewer percentage of violators, of assaulters, of rapists. When there is rape, circumstances that surrounds rape can be categorized, into four. It is either the victim is too young to understand what is actually happening, a child of 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, who has been tricked by an adult into submitting him or herself to an assault, or the victim is too weak to fight back. This person has been subdued by a stronger assailant, a much more powerful person, who is threatening to hurt her much more if she does not cooperate. Or the victim may even be unable to fight back because she is under the influence of alcohol, or she has been drugged by the assailant, by the rapist. And the victim may also be too afraid to resist. When somebody is pointing a gun at you and says, if you don't cooperate, I'm going to kill you. Or is pointing a knife at you, if you don't cooperate, I'm going to open your bowel, I'm going to spill your intestines outside. I'm going to gorge your eyes, I'm going to remove them. You don't have a choice but to cooperate. This brings us to the issue of consent versus cooperation. Consent is when people agree to be together. Both people want to be there. Either of them can choose to stay or leave. Either of them can choose to participate in any sexual activity or not. There's no compulsion, there's no threat, there's no fear. All right? It is mutually consented to. That is consent. It is different from cooperation, which happens when you do as you are told to avoid very unpleasant consequences. Victims believe that their lives or physical well-being is in grave danger if they do not do as they are told. That is not consent, and you cannot blame somebody for cooperating, with someone who is threatening his or her life. It's just like, when armed robbers, come into your apartment and ask you to surrender your valuables. You quickly do so. The situation with rape is the same. It is to be emphasized that our society has done a whole lot of telling the world to blame the rape survivor for another person's violent crime. It is appalling. You begin to hear several things. Were you drunk when you were getting assaulted? Why didn't you shout? But he's your boyfriend. He cannot rape you. The shirt you are wearing, the skirt you are wearing is too short. Why wouldn't you get raped? You like following boys. That is the cause of the problem. What were you doing at a night party? You deserve to be raped. You were drunk. What do you expect? You want to spoil the name of a good man. Why are you accusing our breadwinner of raping you? These are the sentiments that rapists had sold to everyone, so that they will continue to enjoy the freedom to continue to rape others. All right? Blaming a rape survivor for the crime committed by a rapist. And then we want to ask, why do victims of rape or other sexual assaults don't come forward to report. The shame, the guilt, that is as a result of, misconception, our misconception of rape, blaming the victim, the regrets. Oh, I shouldn't have gone there. Like when you go there, the punishment is rape. Oh, I shouldn't have followed my friend home. Like following your friend home is a crime. Oh, I shouldn't have stayed when the other people left. Like staying behind is a crime. I don't want it to be public. The humiliation will be so much. Oh, it has happened. It is now in the past. Let bygone be gone by. Oh, if I report this man, he's my uncle. The family is going to be torn apart. So I would rather keep quiet. Oh, if I come out to report, what evidence do I have? How many people am I going to be opening myself up to as evidence of rape? If I report, they definitely are going to blame me. Why did I enter his car? All right? Why did I, knock on his door? Then we continue, oh, you have been raped, or you are a damaged good, or you will need to go and make some sacrifices. All right? And sometimes fear of retaliation. If I report this person is going to come after me and really, really, increase or double the problem that I have. So I would rather let it go. So all these things or more are what is actually driving people from reporting sexual assault. And that is what is also energizing the rapist to continue to perpetrate the crime, because he knows that, oh, how can she come out to complain? The society will shut her down. Now we need to also look at the unique nature of sexual assault. Majority of the victims fear for their lives despite knowing the rapist. This is my boyfriend and he's saying he wants to have sex with me and I'm saying no, and he has locked the door, he's put the key somewhere and he's holding onto my neck, all right, threatening to hurt me if I don't cooperate. And these are the people that will come back to say, oh, I am sorry, it is the work of the devil. More so, the crime is often intended to be degrading and dehumanizing. The worst thing that anybody can do to someone is to rape the person. All right? The negative feeling may sometimes be there for the rest of the person's life. And more so, sexual assault is the only crime in which consent and degree of resistance are issues. Nobody would ask you, when an armed robber comes to your house that, oh, why did you leave your door open? How? Did you resist? How can you cooperate like that? He said, go and bring your jewelries. And you went inside to bring them and you handed the jewelries to the robbers. How could you do that? Nobody ever says that. But when it comes to sexual assault and rape, all sorts of questions would come out, And we should also know that rape is not sex. It is an exercise of power. Like we mentioned earlier, in most other crimes, nobody will ask, what were you wearing? Why did you go there? Why did you get in his car? Why did you leave your windows open? Did you scream? Did you fight back? Were you drinking? Were you on drugs? Did you know the person? Are you sure that's what happened? Are you sure you are not just being malicious? Are you sure you don't just want to tarnish this good man's image? questions upon questions to demoralize the victim and empower the rapist. What then are some of the effects of sexual assault? Victims may experience nightmares, anxiety, depression. They may begin to abuse drugs, all right, just to numb their feelings, the terrible feelings they're experiencing. They could have panic attacks, difficulty in focusing, poor academic performance. They could drop out of school because they can no longer cope. Sexual dysfunction. They could be experiencing a lot of trust in people and indeed the entire world. They could have eating disorders, either not eating at all or overeating. Self-harm is also a feature, because you are so badly hurt inside. You want to be sure that you can still feel. You could grab a knife and cut yourself because you want to have other kind of feeling outside the negative feeling as a result of the assault. Some may entertain suicide. This pain is too deep. If I kill myself, the pain would go. All right? The pain will disappear. They may also entertain homicide. The feeling of grabbing the person, the perpetrator, and murdering the person. All right? They may entertain some of these thoughts. Anger, difficulty with relationships because they cannot trust any other person any longer. Flashbacks. All right? Some may now begin to have sex with multiple people, just to cover up the negative impact of the horrible experience they have had previously. They may begin to question their own sanity. They may run away from sex altogether, even with trusted persons. It's been reported that some women actually achieve orgasm, during rape. This is enough to drive a victim mad or crazy. That am I normal? This is a hateful situation. Why did this happen? All right. The feeling of isolation, they may just lock themselves up and don't want to relate with anybody. Some sounds, some smells, some sights may trigger a re-experience. Flashbacks. They may begin to feel dirty, humiliated, devalued, which is the intention of the rapist. Such feelings are what the rapist actually wants to bring out of their victim. They may begin to blame themselves. Why did I do it? Why did I go there? All right? Why did I even listen to this person? And of course, shame based on the misconceptions about rape. And so many other effects that individuals who have experienced this terrible situation may begin to manifest. What can we then do to prevent sexual assault? For parents, all we can say is that you do your best to protect your children. Those house helps, the child minders, the uncles that comes visiting and sleeping over, the lesson teachers who are left with the girls, while other people are away, all right? Because we trust the teacher, all right? Your friends' children, your family friends, we need to draw up a boundary between your children and every other person. The reason being that anyone, I repeat, anybody with a very cruel mind can assault your children. For teenagers and young adults, know your friends and know your dates. We have had instances where girlfriends arrange their friends to be raped by boys. We have had instances where girls would invite other girls to a party Just that, so that guys would have their way with those invited, girls. So know your friends and know your dates. All right? For girls and especially young adults, if your friend, your male friend or your boyfriend does not respect you, if he makes all the decisions for you, if he puts you down and shuts you up because you don't have any idea, your brain is not as sharp as his own, if he calls your ideas stupid and shouts at you or threatens to hit you when he is angry, he will eventually assault you. My advice to you is to run. Run far away from such relationship or friends. If you don't feel comfortable with the person, especially at a gathering outside your own home, outside your own house, it is not a time to begin to feel cool or to want to be nice. Make a scene. Shout. I said I don't want. Let others come around so that you can leave that place. All right? It is equally important that if you don't want to expose yourself to unforeseeable circumstances or circumstances that could lead to regrets, then you want to avoid using alcohol or other drugs. And also watch what you drink, especially at parties. All right? Because there are drugs that can get slipped into your drink and you will not be able to fight back even when you are getting assaulted. Young adults, I am still speaking with you. I'm still talking to you here. Look out for warning signs. Does your partner listen to what you are saying? If you say no, does he listen? Does he always feel jealous or possessive of you and your time? It is a sign of insecurity. The most dangerous men are insecure men. Does your man get upset when you don't do what he or she says? Your partner, do they get upset when you don't do what they say? Do they try to make you feel guilty to get their way? Come over to my place. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to come. And he shuts you up. He doesn't want to talk to you for days and for weeks. That is not a friend. Run. Does your friend take alcohol or other drugs? If he or she does, you can get assaulted at any time. Beware. Does it pressure you to do alcohol, to take alcohol? Does it pressure you to sample some drugs that you're not familiar with? Does it insist you go someplace alone, apart from others? You accompany him or her to a party and is insisting, let's take a stroll or let's take a walk, and this is somebody you have just met. Please beware. Does he accuse you of being tight or being frigid when he asks for sex and you say no? These are signs, warning signs, to show you that eventually along the line you are going to get assaulted by this person if you are not careful. What then should you do when you are in a situation that you are uncomfortable with? Right? The important thing is to stay calm, because it is easier to think when you're calm. Then you have to be assertive. Say what you want very clearly. Oh, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I want to leave. I want what you are doing. Stop what you are doing. All right? If it is possible, look for ways to escape. If it doesn't work, resist as long as it is safe for you to do so, while you continue to appeal to his sense of reasoning. Now, if it is now dangerous for you to do so, or if the threat is now glaring that this person is going to really, really hurt you, or at worst, even kill you if you don't cooperate, submission does not mean consent. Don't worry about being nice sometimes when you're uncomfortable. Or don't think that, you'll be hurting someone's feelings when you are not comfortable. Think about your own safety first and take action. If you have been with me up to this point, then you will agree with me that rape cannot be a victim's fault. Rape is a crime of violent aggression. It is about power. It is about control. It is about someone wanting to subdue, to subjugate, to oppress the other person. Sometimes people may make poor safety choices. Sometimes people may be where they are not supposed to be at the time they are not supposed to be there. But does that give any other person the right to hurt them? Does it give any other person the right to molest or rape them? Violence is never an accident. Whoever rapes another person has done it by choice. And I am sorry, can never heal the wound. If you have enjoyed our video, please leave a comment. Let us share in your own personal experience and subscribe to our channel. I'll see you next time.